Of course, I'm not logged in on it because I can't be logged in two places at once. So let's try and see. Aha! Found it. Yay! Found it. Yay! Let's get rid of that. I don't know what happened there. I can never get into this thing, can I? Well, at least you could see it, even if I couldn't see you. I've had a thought about how I'm going to raise my camera higher. I haven't been able to do it this week, but I'm going to have a little play because I might be able to get it higher so that you can get a bit more light onto everything. So, I don't know how many. We've got 10 watching. I don't know if Sue's coming on because she wasn't sure what time it was. So we'll just give them all a few minutes. Hope everybody's had a good couple of weeks. This last week has been completely manic. So I hope everything's all right with you guys. Hi, Nicola. Oh, Nikki. 2 Nickies. Hope you're well. So, hi, Susan. Yes, I have problems finding myself as well. It's all very crazy. That's great, Nicola. That's good. So, let's make a start then. So this morning, we're going to do one of these bags. I've done 2 so you can see the shape of them. So you can either choose to do the portrait bag or you can do the landscape bag. So here's the portrait one. And because the way the light's catching it, hopefully you can see more easily where all the glitter is. I have put glitter on, which I haven't got out today. Well, I can easily grab it. And then we've got the tag. So we've got an underwater kind of theme for this one. Well, in fact, they're both underwater this time. This bag has been made with Crafter's Companion Centura Pearl, which I've got in my stash. And then the portrait one, the landscape one, sorry, is made out of coloured cardstock. Actually, it's Stampin' Up cardstock. I don't even know if this colour's in their selection anymore. I've had it for such a long time. So this is what I've done, and I'm going to change it today. I'm not going to do underwater this time. And clearly it's entirely up to you which one you want to do. And I'll go through how you make up both bags. So it's pretty straightforward because it's the same measurements, you just turn the card differently. So I'm just going to pop them out the way a minute. Okay, so the first thing I do when I'm going to make a bag is I always have a template, put them out the way for a minute, and I make it up out of copy paper. So I have one each here, and in this case, I don't always do this, but in this case, I actually do fold over the top so that it gives you a stronger punch hole kind of area if you don't have any of the little eyelets that you can use to put in there. So on my bag, I look at the measurements and then I write down what I've used and where I'm going to score. And we'll come back to this. We're going to do the topper first, and we'll come back and look at this. And then this is the portrait one. Now, originally I was going to do it slightly differently, lower down, but then I raised this top bit up a bit, so it still gives you an idea. And again, you can fold it. Now, it's up to you what you want to put in it. How wide you make the base areas, and therefore the sides as well. So it's something to play around with. And then I just created the topper for that one, and then the topper for this one, just to see what it's like, bearing in mind you've got the punch holes here, the handle goes up there. Okay, now I'm going to work on a landscape one, so I don't know what anybody else is going to be doing. As I said, we will go through both anyway. All right, And if you've got any questions and you're watching and can't talk on YouTube, then I do have my phone for the WhatsApp group. If you're on the group, you can do it that way. All right, so that's what we're going to do. So hopefully you've got some card ready. And I haven't had time to do this video, but I'm absolutely going to do this video of doing this and then showing what you can do with the background in our case. So I'm going to work with the landscape. So in this instance, it's going to be this coloured one. So I've got my card ready and my tag. Okay. And then the other piece I have done, which is really in prep for the video, because I need to have one ready because it's too wet, is this one. So the portrait one. So I've used pinks and purple on this one. You get a nice mush of colour. And then obviously I've used a couple of greens and a blue on this one. So I have tried to vary the colour. So does everybody have a piece of card ready with their background? I'm hoping you're all going to say yes. Hopefully you are. Okay. Excellent, Brenda. Thank you. Oh, morning. Did I say morning to you, Brenda? Sorry if I didn't. Thanks, Sue. Nikki, yes. Brilliant. Excellent, Moya. I'm sure you've all got some fantastic colours and things going on as well. Okay. So first thing we're going to do is stamp up our card and add some colour to it. And I'm going to use this hair. I'm going to use this hair stamp, which is an all great one, I must admit. I'm going to put this stamp here. So I'm going to stamp that one up. And then because I've chosen that one, not sure what I'm going to do on the tag. I think I might turn the hair sideways. Haven't decided. Or I might just use part of the holly, the ivy that I'm going to put on here as well. Wow, should we get a clean piece of paper, Angela? That might help. So I'm going to stamp up my card. And I'm going to be using VersaFine on here. It doesn't really matter. But depends on how you want to add colour. If you're going to add pencil, then that's fine. Anything will work. If you were thinking of using any of the watercolour pens or the brushes, bear in mind, because we've used oxide, it may shift, which is great because it will just add to what you're doing, so it's not going to look bad or anything. So I'm gonna risk this. I'm gonna do it out of the platform. I don't know whether to do. I actually haven't stamped this before, so I'm gonna have to stamp this on a piece of tester paper first. I don't know what state my VersaFine's in. Let's have a look. I may have to flip to the stamp press. Let's see how this is stamping. Okay. Make sure we get the ink in the middle there. Let's see what this looks like. Yes. I do need a lot more ink on here though. I think my pad is running low. Okay. Okay, let's stamp this up. How is everybody? Everybody okay? All fine? Oops, look at that. Nearly stamped him upside down. Let's put him here, I think. Might not be exactly dead straight here. Okay. And then stamp up all the elements that you want to add in. So if you want to put anything around the edges, depending on what you're stamping, which image you're using. There we go. So that's the rabbit, or the hare, should I say. Just going to stamp that off. Take some of the ink off of it. And then, oh, sorry, I'll just catch that. And then I'm just going to put a little bit of the ivy around the edges. I'm thinking of, I'll take the acetate, let's have a look. Let's see, where is it? So, I was thinking I might come in, come in like that. Come in like that, and I'm probably going to do something like this in the middle as well. Yeah, something like that. Excellent. So, let's just ink up. So I've just inked up this part of the stamp. Let's turn this. Which way is the easiest way to do this? I'm going to do. Are you getting as giddy as I am? Okay. Now, as you, some of you will have done this before on Clarity cardstock. Oh, is the sound really low? Let's have a look. I've turned it up a bit at my end now. I don't know if that's going to help. It could just be me talking quietly as well. You never know. Morning, Erica and Joan. Hope you're well. Is that any better for you, Erica? I'll shout. Okay. Is anybody else having problems with the sound, or is it okay now? Okay. Just going to do the top here. Which way do I want that? Do I want it more this way? Yeah, I think we'll do that like that. Can you hear me now, Erica? Is it better, or is it still low your end? I have turned my sand up this end. You're always busy stamping. Yeah, okay, Erica, great. There we go. That's great. We've got that one on there for around the top. And then I'm thinking whether or not to add anything else. I'm not sure that I'm going to. Just wondering whether or not something like that. No, I don't think I want it on there. No. This is going to be pretty straightforward stamping on my one. Obviously, oh, don't do what I've just done, which is forget the tag. I'm going to have a little look here as to whether or not, let's get this one back out. Obviously the tag's going to look this way, so do I want a hare standing on his head? Which I do quite like. It's a tag, isn't it? So it doesn't really matter that much, really. Or do I just bring in the ivy? I think I might do that. Might just do the hair again. I could just do half of him, really, couldn't I? Yeah, up to about there. Let's see. So just past the little heart that's on him. Okay. So let's put the hair back on again. I don't know how much I've got left on here from before. Let's see. Might just put a little bit of paper there. I got post. I don't really like doing that because it's going to be a straight edge. So let's tear it because it's not now then, is it? Let's have a look and see. Right, that will be. Yeah, let's do it that way. So, don't forget we can use. Don't have to use the whole stamp all the time. You can use parts of the stamp. So I take it, Erica, you're down here for a little while. Are you just down for the weekend or have you got a break? Oh. There we go. Oh, yes, I like that. I think my pad is running out though. Obviously been used too much. Oh no, Nikki. Isn't that a pain? Yeah, that is probably a little paler than I would have liked, but I think it's fine. Also looks like the tag has caught a bit of my card as well. Wow. Didn't know post-it. I don't usually have post-it notes that sticky. Right. Okay then. So does everybody have a tag and their top a bit done? Oh, that's good, Erica. I hope you've had a good time. Managed to get some rest as well. I'm sure it's been busy. So right, so if I turn mine up the other way, this is my topper, which we can add a bit to, and the tag as well, which we will cut to shape shortly. It's ready. So is everybody at this point? I'll just wait a few minutes for everybody to do all their stamping. It's okay, Erica, I'll wait. I didn't have a lot to do on this one, whereas I did on the bags that I made up to show you. I had a lot more stamping on there. Decided to go with a lighter one this time. That's fine. So I don't know what's going to happen today. A bit sunny-ish here with this lovely cloud coming overhead, but never mind. Wasn't it windy yesterday? Good grief. What's Sue sent? Yay! Oh, Sue, you're a step ahead. You got your tag already sorted. Did you use a ready-made tag? Like that. Very nice. Oh, Tracy. Oh dear, never mind. Have you done this type of background before? I can't remember whether we've done this background at in the Somerset group. I know we have at Dorset. In the past, we've done it on clarity coated cardstock using dye-based inks and the brayer, because of course they don't dry quickly on the coated cardstock. But because I've used the oxides here, you've got enough time to get some reaction going, and of course the water makes them oxide, so I really like what you get with it. So I am going to, as I say, I am going to do a video of this technique, and I had hoped to get it done this week, but I don't know why, but it's just been crazy. Okay, Tracy, so once you've done all the inking, if you have cling film, or what I tend to use now is these kind of bags that you get now from the supermarkets, which are compostable, or you can use see, here's my other one. So here's my good old grocery bag here that I've got, or the magazines as well. Now, so these magazine bags will also do the job, because what you want is something that will cover the card. So once you've done your blending, spritz the bag or the cling film, if you haven't got anything else, spritz that. And then once you put that on wet, scrunch up the paper like this, and it will stick. Okay, Susan. Yeah, the clarity coated card is, you need dye-based inks. I don't know if I've got any handy to show you. Let's see what's in here. Have I got a clarity one? No, it's not in that box. It must be in another box somewhere. It's probably that big one over there. Okay, I'll put it on the video and I'll show you. So I've not actually tried oxide on the clarity coat one. Yes, Brenda. Wow, with brushes. Well, yeah, that will do the same thing. Anything that's wet, really. As long as it's on your bag. Adding layers to the work. Okay, cool. Brilliant. So yeah, it's as long as you've got an ink that will move. So you can't do it with permanent ink because it won't move with the water. Alcohol inks on Yupo or glossy card you could use with by spritzing the blending solution to make the alcohol move. It won't move with water. So, but anything really that's water based. I'm looking forward to seeing these backgrounds then if you've used all these different things. So how are we doing? Once you've actually done, I'm going to make a start because what we'll wait to carry on. Once you've done this, I'm then going to add a little bit of colour to the stamping. And I still like to do this on the board. You can do it on a harder surface. You could just do it on the mat, really. I just tend to use this all the time with the harder board on it. So we could add a bit of colour. You can stick to the colours you've got. So you just use those colours. Add some blues and some greens, which is what I did before. Or if you want to, of course, then you can use complementary colours. I am going to stick to the colours, I think. So I think we'll go with I can try and think. So I used peeled paint I used, and cracked pistachio was the other one I used. It's probably more this colour. And then a stormy sky. Of course, you could paint with the inks itself, but I think I'm going to use pencil to give it a little bit more colour. I'm not going to add oodles and oodles of colour. I didn't on these. So on this one, I did use a darker colour, darker blue, to bring in the underbelly of the whale, and then used a couple of different blues on the top. So that's how I did that. So again, just keeping it in the same family. But of course, you can do whatever you want to do. It'd be lovely to see different colours as well. I'm going to use that, and I think I'll probably go with a little bit of blue here. It's only for the ivy anyway, I think. So I'm just going to add a little bit of colour. Just make sure that the ink is dry. That's fine. Oh, and one thing I forgot to mention, which as we can see here, now this is the back of the tag, which of course if you want to write on is not the best. So what I would do is ink it up again, but we'll have to protect the front this time. So on the back, I re-inked it. So I just inked the back of the tag. Here we go. Just so that it hid any marks. And it came up with quite some nice patterning of its own, actually. Is it this one that did that? Yeah. So on the back of this tag, I'd obviously got something on the back. And then so I re-inked it, but then I got this nice pattern on it. So as long as it's not too dark that they wouldn't see any writing. Or of course you could just back it with a clean piece of card. That is something to bear in mind. So I would have to redo that tag. I'd have to just ink up the back part of that tag. Okay. I'm sure you all thought about it. What I should have done was covered the back. So like we used on one of the workshops, put some post-it note paper or mask it off with some copy paper just inside it so that it doesn't pick up the ink from the mat. It's okay, it's not too bad. Now, how does this work from a colour point of view? Oh yeah, that works quite nicely. Okay. So I'm just going to bring in a little bit of colour I'm not going to be too heavy-handed, just to help it stand out, really. Just very, very light strokes. Like that. And I'll bring in some of the other green in a minute. So okay. Those of you that do also like Call and Create stamps, did you know that, of course it's not going to be very helpful when I tell you this, did you know that Abs is on the TV today with they've done some different bundles at prices. Unfortunately, the next show is at 11 o'clock. So if you want the TV on or something, wherever you're sitting, you want to have a quick look. If the stamps are there, it's on till midnight tomorrow. I think the prices are being held for. And I can't remember what time his show is this afternoon. I don't know if it's 2 o'clock or something. I don't know. I can't remember. And then he did have one on at 7 o'clock this morning. Also, Jenny Mays is on next week. I was talking to her in the week, and she is on her Chanda this week, part of the birthday thing I think she's on. And she's got a couple of new stamps, and I think they're bringing back a couple of other ones as well. If you want any hobby art stamps, then let me know. I can get them for you. I don't know if she's doing special offers on a Chanda, but I can get you them. I know she's just done a 20% offer. I can get hobby art stamps as well as clarity stamps, and then ship them out to you if you're happy to do it that way. I can do that. Okay. Let me just bring in, just using very light strokes. Blend the two colours here, and I'll bring in a bit more here as well. What we got going on here? Oh, have a look, Tracy. What's Tracy done here? Oh, excellent. Oh, that's very good. Did you brayer that, Tracy? Or did you just blend it? Did you brayer the colour on or did you blend it? That's very good. Very nice too. That's a great pattern. You'll get more movement on the clarity cardstock because, of course, it's not as permeable, so the ink will sit on top, so you have more to play with. Blended with the little spongy things. Now, what do you call a little spongy thing? Do you mean the blending tool, like this? Or do you mean the makeup spongy things? Like a big round one or a smaller one? Okay, let's make him a little bit darker in the middle Yeah, I think it's a bit weird. That's all right. Okay, how are we all getting on? The eggy shape. I know what you mean. Yeah, the makeup smoochy things. Yeah. Well, it looks really good. Yeah. No, it does. I really like it. Okay. I've got a little heart on here. I'm just going to colour that in the blue. And I'll work on the ivy. How is everybody else getting on? Now, with that background of yours, Tracy, I would leave it to dry naturally rather than heat. You can heat it if you want to. You just need to be a bit careful. But it can mute the colours if you use a heat tool. The greens we got. Okay, of course I've gone really quiet now. Oh, Sue, smudged your ink. Are you talking about the stamped image? Yeah, it takes a little. Sometimes they take longer to dry. I've tried with the heat tool. Now hunting for stamp. Yes, Tracy. Well, you should see my craft room. That's nuts as well. Me too. Brenda, what does me too mean? You smudged your ink or you've dried it with the heat tool? Either way, I'm sorry if you smudged it. Just keep going. You don't have to, I mean, I'll show you how to make up the bag, but you can also redo it. Yes, but it was still picked up on my hand. Oh no. Oh, both. Oh, okay. Are you both using VersaFine, Claire? Okay, because what you can do is blot and then use the heat tool on it before you start colouring. I'll remember to do that next time. So that you make sure it is done. I mean, my hair on my tag hasn't really stamped as dark side of light. I'm not worried about it, but it's probably could have been a little bit darker. And the alternative way around this, of course, another way of doing this is to emboss your image. We haven't done that for a little while, have we? So we can do some embossing as well. VersaFine Onyx Black, yes, it's very wet, isn't it, the VersaFine? Okay. Keep going. This can be just your sample of what you actually did, and then when you get a minute, you can, well, a few minutes, you can then, well, a few minutes, you can then give it another go, can't you? That's great. I am going to edge this card as well in a moment, so I'm going to use probably a brown on this one. vintage photo I think I'm going to use, yeah, just to tie in the edge. I did use a Sharpie on the others as well as blending around the edge, which just helps to let it stay out. Oh no, Susan! Clarity coated cardstock, literally called that. Yes, Brenda, it was. It's Clarity Card, I think it goes by. Then actually, while you're all colouring in, I'll look it up for you. I think it's still called Clarity Card. Clarity Card. I've got a box fit over here. Why has my phone gone off of that? Right, let's reset that. Let's have a look at. What does she have it under? Card and paper. It is called. That's the promo card. It is called. Let's have a look. Right, okay. It is called, it is Clarity Card, but it's Clarity Card white coated A5 card by 25, or you get the A6, which comes as 50. So you get 50 A6s and you get 25 coated, Brenda. So that's what it is. It's not showing. I'm holding it up in front of the camera. Come on, catch up with me. So there we go. So that's what it's called. Clarity Card, white coated A5 card, or white coated A6. Ooh. Hold that at a better angle. There you go. So that's that. All right. So that's that card. That's that card. I'll try and get it out. Let's have a look, Susan. What have you? Oh, thanks, Susan. Yeah, Brenda. Susan sent a picture. I don't know if you're in the WhatsApp group, Brenda. Are you? I can't remember who's in the WhatsApp group. There's a picture of it. Susan's taken a picture of the card. Thank you. Mine's all in a box somewhere. Oh, it's the hat. Oh yeah, I suppose I could have just reached over there and got it for you. Never mind. You now got plenty. You can now see it on the thing. And Susan has sent a picture into the WhatsApp group. Thanks, Moya. Yeah. So we've got some backgrounds being posted into WhatsApp by some of you. So Joan, has Erica been behaving herself while she's been down? I'm sure you wanted that rest, Erica, after the last couple of months of teaching. And I don't really want to ask how clearing went. I won't get into that, I don't think. Okay, how are we getting on with our colouring in? Are we getting there? Just adding a bit of colour. And go with the darker green on this one. Brenda, the art silk card, is it kind of coated one side and then not on the other? So it's just like paper on the other side. It could be what they called it in the very beginning, because I don't remember seeing anything called Clarity Art Silk Card for the last, I don't know how many years. They may have renamed it, I don't know, as Clarity Card. There we go. Oh yes, Susan, I just seen that. Yes, glitter, flowers, something like that. Cool. So where am I going to put glitter on my hair? I hadn't thought about that. Don't know whether my hair's gonna. You might not. This might be a glitter-free zone. This one. Don't know. I haven't think about that. Let's do my tag. A little bit of colour. Kind of a bluey colour there. So think about the darker areas of your stamps as well. Coated both sides. Oh. Oh wow. Is Clarity cast? Hang on, I'm gonna have to look now. Oh, it is double-sided. Oh yeah, it is double-sided. I'm wondering if it is the same thing, because this is the card that she first brought out to do the brayering on. This is the card she. I'm just wondering whether she called. I don't know whether she. Oh, I see. Yes, look, it says coated/silk on my box, which I've had for donkey's years. So it's probably the same stuff, Brenda. Yeah, it's probably the same stuff. Yeah, both sides. And she's on this box. It does say this old box I've had for ages is double-sided coated silk, coated/silk. Oh yeah, and the new little pack does as well. Oh, I never realised it said silk. There you go. Every day's a school day. So I think we are talking about the same card, Brenda. It's just called Clarity Card now. What's Susan's picture? Yeah, double-sided, silk coated. There you go. So we are using the same. Well, you are using the same stuff. Okay. There we go. Now I need to. He's kind of flying my hair, isn't he? So I don't really need to do too much grounding, I don't think. Maybe I have a bit of a shadow underneath him. Yeah, Brenda, I think it is the same. It is the same. Okay. There we go. How's everybody getting on? I'm tempted to add a little bit of white to his eye. Let's see, is that going to work? And if so, which white pen am I going to use? Let's have a look at this. Oh, Nikki. So did you have some backups, Nikki? That's a very good thing to do. So let's have a look. Where would it go? Would it go here? Just wondering what it would look like. I think it would go there, wouldn't it? Maybe I'll just have a... I might do that at the end so that I don't smudge it. Think about it in a minute. Okie dokie. How are we all getting on? Just cut some and have a spare uncoated. Excellent. Okay. So Nikki, did you do the journaling sessions with Margie? Which pencils are you using, Tracy? You only need a light covering anyway, so I don't know what card you're using. Are you using ordinary card? Oh, so yours is finished, Nikki. I'm a bit behind. I have watched them all, and I have a few finished, and then a load of bits of card all over the place with notes on them, telling me what to do. So I'll get them finished at some point. Ah, okay. Let me have a look. If you're on clarity coated, let me have a look. Let's see. Let's take a dark pencil. Some of these need sharpening. Okay, on the coated cardstock. Right, so the cardstock will take it. As I said, I haven't put any. I wanted to use ordinary card for this because not everybody has the clarity card. We'll do some with clarity card. Let's put a little bit of that on there. And you've got water, haven't you? So I'll tell you what, let me just do, while you're all colouring, let me just do this a second. Yes, Oh, sorry, I'm not reading. Okay, Tracy, I'm just having a look at something for you. Yeah, it was good, Nikki. I enjoyed it. Okay. Yes. See, I would go. I would have gone with dye-based ink on the clarity cardstock, not the oxides, personally. But obviously, some of you are doing it and getting some really great results. So I do like your background, but I'm going to have to dry this off now. Bear with. But of course, the oxide is good because it will give you a different finish. Right, so I've just done that, Tracy. Let's see. Okay, so I've just put some oxides onto the clarity card and I just dried it. Now it will take the pencils on the card itself because I haven't put a lot, but oh, I see what you mean. You're getting a did you get the texture effect kind of thing, Tracy? Don't worry, if you do it really, really lightly, it's only to bring it up a little bit. I'm not asking you to do a lot of heavy colouring, it's just to give a little bit of colouring to the image that you've got. So. Okay, yeah. Yeah, it kind of, because the oxides are giving you a different kind of finish, aren't they? So it's catching. It probably would work, but if you're not happy with it, then stop. Isn't as good. So I didn't. Okay, Moya, but you used clarity card, didn't you? Because the dye-based ink works. Okay, I'll have to look at that again. Oh, okay, Nikki. I've just seen your other message. Okay, that's why I said in my note I would probably brayer onto the coated cardstock with the dye-based ink rather than blend it. Did you brayer it, Moya, or blend it? I don't understand why you think the finish isn't as good. I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure there's nothing wrong with it at all. Okay, let's leave that to the side for a minute. Oh, okay, Moya. Well, I wait to see it. I'll have a look. Yes, Susan, I agree with you. It's interesting how the different inks react with the different cards. Definitely. And of course, on the coated cardstock, of course, it's not permeable or it takes a long while to get through it. So it just sits on the top. You have to wait for it to dry, which is why the wetting the film and putting it over it gives you quite more dramatic effects possibly than you would on ordinary card. But the oxides allow you to get some really good ones as well because of the way they work. And as I mentioned last week, the oxides are made up of pigment and dye ink. So they're a mix. So it may be that allows you to do it. So there is a mix in it. I'll have a look. I'll play on different pieces of card. So when I do the video, I wanted to do quite a quick video, but I will do it on different pieces of card so we can have a look and see what happens there. Okay, how has everybody got on? Have you finished your topper and your tag? Yep. If you have finished the colour and you might want to do something with the tag, if I've got my greens handy, which I don't think I have. I think I'll put them away. But what I will do is I will just grab them and I will do the back. Now, which colour shall I go with on the back? I think I'm going to go with the peeled paint actually, which I have to declare is one of my favourite colours. Grab a pad. Right, and on this, I'm then going to protect the other side. So I'm just going to do the back. Now, I have to be a bit careful of this because we are actually going to try and blend, aren't we? So we need it to fit. And I hope this doesn't stick. It pulled off a little bit of the ink last time, so I don't want that to happen on this. Just cut this down. And then let's get this on. Just colour the back here, and then we'll cut. If you haven't already cut the tag, then we'll cut it. Well, oh, look at that. Back of one of my tags has come away. Okay. There we go. That gives it a more uniform finish. Everything's going into pot. Okay. Here's my brown one. That's over there. Okie dokie. Right. Is everybody at a point where they're ready with their tag? So we're going to cut it so we can then look at cutting it down. Now you can do this with scissors, knife, not on your silicone mat, or with a trimmer. And I'm sure everybody has probably done this already before. And the way I do it, I do measure it out, I have to say. So it is meant to be 5 centimetres. Honestly, my trimmer, hasn't cut this straight. So it's about 2.5. So I usually come out. I think I had it before. I think I had it about a centimetre away from the centre, I think, actually. So 3.5 and 1.5, I think, is where I cut them. And then I came down. Did I come down a centimetre? I came down longer than that. What did I come down on? 2 centimetres down the card is how I do mine. There we go. And then you can use your trimmer, or you can use scissors or a knife. And then with your trimmer, I just put the lines so that they match the actually in the groove area. and then cut at that point. And then there as well. Probably gonna have to. Or you can use the guillotine as well to do this. And you can make it any shape really you want. If you don't want those measurements, you can make it wider or narrower. Now, because I cut on the back, I'm just going to sort these front bits out, just flatten these a bit. We're going to edge it anyway, so it'll be fine. Okay. And then I guess I'm going to have to let's not use that one. Let's use this one. I'll just erase it. Now, do you have the... Well, actually, I'm going to punch the tag when we punch the bag. Do all that together. All right. So I'm just going to edge these with a brown oxide around the edge. So I'm just going to give it a little edge. And then if you want to do a Sharpie edge as well, you can. Or you can just leave it. It's entirely up to you. Nice little circular motions. Ooh, I'm going to get brown on the back now. There we go. Yeah. And then again around the edge of the larger card as well. And to keep marks off the card, I do have a strip of paper that I use. Always coming off the mat. Small circular motion as you work your way down the edge. You can actually drag a little bit down the side as well. Small circular motion. And when you're blending, always come off the mat. I'll do this corner first. Oops. And then back out to meet the other end. Bit of my card is lifting up, so let's just push that down. That's it. Brilliant edges. I think that's fine. Okay, make sure this is clean. And as is this. Okay. Now it's at this point you might want to add your glitter. So if you want to add glitter, oops, sorry, I would do it now. Maybe we have some on the ivy. I might do some on the ivy. Just got to grab my glitter. So I'm going to use a static bag. Emboss the card edges. What, heat emboss it, Nikki? Is that what you want to do? Oh yeah, I did that on my Centurion. Yes. Okay, you would do that now. Yes, it's this one. I heat embossed around the edge, didn't I? Around here. So, okay, I'll do that on this card. I'll do that now. All right, so I will do the embossing first, and I will. On this one, I will grab a bit of gold. Now, the way I did this, where's my VersaMark gone? My VersaMark, I mean. So the way I did it, I just first. I'm going to use some talky stuff on the card. Get the thing out. There we go. So if you want to do what I did with the edging of the card, then did this. I then get that out of the way. Went with the pad, and I just randomly, I didn't go straight down. I kind of just did bits. So some were thinner, some were fatter, if you see what I mean. So I just dragged the pad. Gosh, I don't want it to be, you don't want it to be even, which is kind of tricky really. So hopefully this isn't going to be that even. So I just go over a few bits. So some bits are narrower than others, and then I just tap it. And then anything left on the, there we go. That is very random. Ooh. And then we want to heat that up. So let's get this back in the pot. Over there. Did I do the tag as well? Yes, I did. So do the tag. come out a bit too far for how I like it. So I'm just gonna, since I only want it on the edge, I'm just gonna get this off. That's it. That away. I've got some on my mat as well, so try and get this out of the way. And then we can then heat them. Now, oh, I'll do it on here for a little bit and then I'll move it. So I just usually ow. You might want to do it from the top or you might want to do it from the bottom. There we go, that's the tag. I'm just going to do the card. I'm going to have to do it off the camera because it's awkward to hold it. I'm just going to do it over here. Okay. This should be quicker. The gun's already hot enough. Right. There we go. Okay. Nearly there. There we go. Okay. So now I've got the embossed edge. Oh, no, I haven't. I've missed a bit. Oh, hang on. Right, I just caught that bit. Oops. I missed it and then just caught it. Okay. If you want to add glitter, if you do want to add any glitter with the embossing, then now is the time to do that as well, because it's going to be tricky to do that on the bag. Okay, so turn it over. So if you want to do any glittering, do it now. For quickness sake, I'm just going to use my quickie glue pen. I know you can use oh my, what's it called, that sticky stuff from Bergamano. I can't remember what it's called now. With the pen, if you want to do it with that, you get a very fine line. But I'm just going to add a little bit with the glue pen onto the leaves on mine, but if you want to add it as well, you can do. This can sometimes be a little bit too thick. I noticed on my other one, my seahorse. I didn't like it to start with. I don't mind it now. Don't know where I'm going to glitter the hair. Do I need any glitter on here? I don't think I'll glitter the tag. Actually, I think I'll leave the tag glitter free. Glitter free zone. And then I'm going to use the Bergamano, and I'll use the hint of green on this one. There we go. We've got some, it's a heavy blob of glitter there. There we go. Can you see the glitter? That's it. Right. I'll put that one away. Okay. Now, you've got a couple of choices. I do want to get the bag made up, before, obviously, show you what we did with the bag. But we do have a couple of choices now. You can now put your other embellishments on here as well. So if you want to put some flowers or anything, you can. You may want to wait and put them on when it's on the bag, so you see how it fits on the bag. And I'll show you a point as to when you would do that before you actually fold the bottom up. It's entirely up to you. I'm going to use glue to stick, wet glue to stick this down onto the card. Did I use wet glue? Actually, I think I used tape. which of course is going to be a little tricky if you've got a load of flowers on. But it's up to you how you want to do that. So if you want to add some sequins or any kind of other embellishments onto your topper now, onto the card area, now would be a good time to do that. If you think you want to leave the flowers or anything else until we've got the bag ready, we can do that as well. There's two ways of doing it, whichever way you feel more comfortable with. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it, and I will do it when it's on the bag, so I can show you at the same time what to do, not what to do, but when to do it on the bag. Okay, so is everybody at that point? Are you ready to move forward? I'll just wait, give you a couple of seconds. Oh, seconds, minutes. How are we all doing? Right. Okay, that's Sue, Brenda, Moya, and Nikki. You're ready to move on. Anybody else? I'll give you a couple of minutes, and then I think for quickness sake, I'll probably just glue mine down. Okay. So then we're then going to need the bags, the card for the bag. I'll go through all the measurements with you as well, where to score. Thanks, Susan. Thanks, Erica. All right. So, on the landscape bag, okay, we're going to score I'm going to do the base and the top of the card first, and then we're going to do down the side, and it's exactly the same on both cards, so I will go through it all with you. If you have plain card, then it's fine. If you have a patterned card, because you want the back of your card to be patterned as well, so some of the papers are thick enough to make, you know, some of the decorative papers you can make a bag with, you do need to bear in mind the way your pattern is going, so that you remember when you glue it all together, the pattern is going the right way round. Does that make sense? So I'll tell you so you can write it down. So the first thing we're going to do then in the score, so when we score it, depending on where your top of your card is, so let's say, so on the top of your card, I'm actually going to score at 2 centimeters from one edge. All right, and then it is, I would then turn it over and it's 4 centimeters from the other edge. Okay, so it's 2 centimeters first, then turn your card, and then it's 4 centimeters from the edge. That's just easy. That was easier for me to work out the scoring, because it's an A4 sheet and this is not an exact centimeter, or if you're working in inches, then you can, I would still turn it, but that's the way I do it. All right, so I turn it so I know I've got that. Then once you got it the other way around, so then when you've got it horizontally into the scorer, the scoreboard, or your trimmer, and I'll show you how to do both, then you score at 1 centimeter, 3 centimeters, but not all the way down, so I'll show that in a minute, and then 5 centimeters. And you do that on both sheets of card. So this is the landscape bag. So let me show you on my, I've got the scoreboard here. Okay. this is just the way I do it. So I'm going to score at 2 centimeters, which is going to be the top. So this is what we're going to fold over to make a neat top. If you don't want to do this, you don't have to. You do not need to fold a top over, and I don't always do it. I just thought it looked quite nice. All right, with the edge finished. Then I turn it and I do 4 centimeters. Okay, so that way around, I do 2 centimeters, and then I turn the card and I do it at 4 centimeters. Then with the top at the top, so you need the top fold, which is the smaller fold, at the top of the scoreboard or the trimmer, and we then score 1 centimeter all the way down, 5 centimeters all the way down, and then we're going to score. I'm going to show you on this part of the bag here. I've got enough room. Where the middle score, so it kind of stops 3 or 4 how many do I do? About a couple of centimeters from the bottom, and this is where the card's going to fold. It's going to give you the fold edges on the side of the card, and that's at 3 centimeters. So at 3 centimeters, which is why I do these baselines first. So at 3 centimeters, and then I kind of stop there. All right. So 1 centimeter, 5 centimeters, 3 centimeters stops. Okay. Just a bit above the bottom. Can everybody see that? Okay. All right. And then we repeat. So we do the top of the card first, 2 centimeters. Then the base is at 4. Base is 4, yeah. Base is 4. And then we would do the sides. Now, if you have a trimmer that does have a score on it, let's get this one off, that has a scoring board on it, then you can, obviously you can do it that way as well. So you would then do the 1 and the 4. It's not always as deep. If you have a trimmer that doesn't have the score tool on, then you can, I'm not going to do it, line it up, and then with a smaller ball tool you can go down the groove. Sometimes these grooves will let you go through down onto it. Does that make sense? So this is the top, isn't it? So I need this bit here. So you've got a centimetre here, which is tricky, which is why I like to do it on a scoreboard. So it doesn't matter if I do it the other edge. So we've got a centimetre here. Plus the fact I never trust this to be straight either. I'm sure it's the way I put it in, because I have real troubles on scoreboards. There we go. 1 centimetre there. Centimetre there. And then if you're really careful, you can score down the groove. Obviously, if you have a scoring tool, you can do that, but it doesn't always go as deep. All right. So I'm going to go back to this. So it's at 1 cent, and see, it doesn't always line up either on my trimmer, which is why I don't like doing it. 5 centimeters back on here, and then 3, and we stop. Okay. On the portrait bag, it's exactly the same measurements, but you turn the card the other way. So on the portrait bag, we turn it this way to do the top. Here's my landscape bag. Here's my portrait bag. So you turn it the opposite way. You do the top of your card first. So make sure it is facing, if it's patterned, you've got it going the right way. So 2 centimeters there. And then a 4 centimeter base here. And then on the shorter side this time, you do your 1 centimeter. You do your 5 centimeters. And then your 3 centimeters stops just above the line. So you do it that way around. Okay. So if you have the top of the bag, on a portrait size, you start with the card landscape first, so the long side, and you score 2 centimeters. You turn it and do 4 centimeters. Then with the top uppermost, you then score 1 centimeter all the way down, 5 centimeters all the way down, and then 3 centimeters stopping 3-4 centimeters above the actual score line. Okay, that's the portrait. Does that make sense, everybody? Now I'm going to work on the landscape, but you do the same on the portrait as well, because the landscape's lighter card, so it's going to be easier to see. I will show you. So the first thing we do is score the lines. So fold them up, score them, and with your tool, don't score the middle 3 centimeter one for the minute. So leave this one alone for the second, and then score. So you score the 1 and the 5 on the edges. Leave this one, regardless of which bag you're doing, alone for the minute, and then you score the top and the bottom, and you do that on both of them. Just on the 5. Okay, now we need to trim bits of this off and cut. So what we need to do is remove this piece here. You can see this. So we need to cut this piece here. So on your base, you've got a little narrow strip that needs to come off. So you cut that bit, and you also at the top cut this bit. So even on the portrait bag as well, it's exactly the same. So on the portrait bag, you can just about see it. You have a little rectangular side to the side here. So you've got your rectangle there, and then you've got another one at the base here. So they're the bits that you need to remove completely. You cut them completely. Okay. I'm just going to remove them. And I don't know if you can see me doing this, and then remove this one here. Okay. So when you're like that, now what I like to do, I also just trim these edges just at an angle. You don't need a lot off, just to give it a little bit of an angle so it fits a bit more neatly. You then, so on this other score line now, which would be the 5 centimeters, you need to cut up that score line just up to the base fold, the crease. So if you can see where I cut the fold up to the fold, and then I also make these into a little triangle as well. Now, because I've actually given you a top, you will need to cut this one as well, just to make it easier to fold. I'll sort that out in a minute. All right. I'm just going to trim that down a little bit as well, these edges, so that they fold neatly when you fold the bag. And you repeat on the other one. So we cut the little triangles off. And we chop into it like that. We cut the large one to the bottom fold. Now I'm sure many of you know how to do this. I don't know if how many of you have not made a bag before. I'm sure quite a few of you have. And then we're going to have to trim here. Okay. So that's what we've got. So with it up the right way round, we're going to put the tape down here. Now I'm going to use red tape because it is thick. You really want a tape that's going to hold. So you've got red tape here and red tape on the thinner pieces. So I'm going to use some red tape along those edges. Okay. Ooh. Try and get it straight. Right, and then try and get it straighter than what I've just done. And then I just fit the ends in as well to the sides. Okay. Just going to burnish. Just going to burnish these. There was a trick on TV that if you do that, it actually removes the static. They're not as static. So, there you go. They just come off. I'll just put that in the bin. There we go. Now, of course, I've taken both off, and it probably is better not to do that, but hey ho. I have now. So the way I do it is that we need to fit these two together. Okay. And then we need to do the other one as well, the other way around. So making sure you've got it the right way around. I'm going to fold it like that. And then go. And then when we come to do this one, I fold it flat and I can pull it this way round. Okay. There you go. There we go. So we now have our bag. So the top will fold in like this. And then we'll worry about the base in a minute. Now, at this point, before we get everything folded, where you've trimmed, I will now, if you think it's a little bit tight, this is catching on the side here a little bit. So again, I would just trim those out, those edges, and then it would fit in a little bit more neatly. do it that way. And then this way. Now, to keep these bits down, you might want to put just a little bit of wet glue, which is what I do. So I just, when I use the edge, then I just add a little bit of wet glue, okay, to these long strips before we trim it, before we hole punch it. So I'm just going to use a bit of wet glue here. I don't know if you can actually see what I'm doing here. You don't want too much. So just put some wet glue on the edge and then fold down. Obviously, you know how to do this. So then wet glue on the edge and back in again. Now I don't usually do the sides, but if you think the sides need it, then fair enough. And then you might have to hold a minute for the glue to take. There we go. Try not to get any screwing out the ends. There we go. So with our bag like this, am I going to need that? Yes. With our bag like this, you can determine which you want to be the front and the back. So it depends if one seems better than the other, if one finishes better than the other on the sides. And at this point, I would then glue or add your topper, because it's flat, it's easier for you to then do all the work you want to do on it. So I would now add the topper, and I'm in actual fact going to put tape on this because I'm not sure about that glue. My Tombow ran out and I'm just using tonic. I think it's fine because everybody seems to use tonic, or quite a few of them use tonic. It seems to be a little bit liquidy, which I suppose it's meant to be if it's white PVA glue. So, edge. And to the edge here. Probably not a good idea, Angela. I don't know. Let's put that back there. We'll just fold these over, I think, as you would on a card. I'll show you how to finish making up the bag, but I appreciate you're probably going to want to put your more embellishments on, so which is fine. I'm going to add a little bit of glue over the tape, just in case I need to. A little bit of wiggle room there, and then stick it. So this bit is really like just what we've done on a card. Bearing in mind we need to put the holes in. Actually, you might want to hole punch first. I'll do it this way because it's roughly there. I have an idea where the holes are, so you might want to put your holes in first. We'll just do that in a minute. So look straight. My thing's folded in, isn't it? It's going so well. There it is. It's got buried in the bag. Right, there we go. Right, so keep that flat and then we would add the rest of the embellishments, how you want to do it. I'm going to show you the other bits and pieces now, just so you know how to finish, and it's on the same for both bags. So at this point, we're going to fold the sides in. They're going to do a valley fold towards the top. Okay, so we get that kind of finish so that it's flat, and we can do the holes for the bag. Now again, have a little measure to see what we've got here. Basically where you want them. This is about 24.5-ish centimeters. So about 12.2 is the middle. So where do you want to come out? So it could be coming in 4.5 that way and in 4.5 that way. And then just put a little mark. You might want them closer in the middle, you might want them further out. It's going to be obviously slightly differently on the portrait one because you've got a narrower opening. So just think if you want to come in 4 or 5 centimeters from the edge and then mark it. Let's do 5 centimeters from the edge and then mark it. And then we can do the holes. Now I know not every one of you's got a crocodile. So if this isn't the easiest way for you to make the holes, then use whatever is best for you. The tape isn't sticking down. Oh, that's because it ripped. It didn't. Oh, would you believe it? The tape ripped. Right. Okay, back to this now. With the edges even. Now on here, it allows you to measure, get the distance even on both sides because you've got that here. If you're not 100% sure, or you don't have a crocodile that does it, or you haven't got a tool that does this, then you might need to measure down as well, so you know you're going the same distance. In actual fact, this is lower than where I put my dot. So, and then cut them, and then same here, roughly there. There we go. So we have a set of holes. It's on my mat. So once you've finished all your embellishments, okay, so once you've got your hair finished, I'm going to add a few bits to mine in a minute. I want to show you the closing up. We then close up the base, put your little tags in first. Now I always have it so that whichever side has the front on it, so the topper on it, I have that facing the back. So in this instance, I want this piece to go towards the back of the bag. Does that make sense? Yeah, so that the back of the bag is pointing away from the topper. So we're going to put the tape on that side. Oops. So we're putting the tape on the front flap so that it sits up towards the back, and I put 2 or 3 strips on there depending on the size of the bag. Yeah, so I'll probably put try not to catch the bag at the same time. And then Now you can do this bag style with A3 card as well. And if you're going to want to try it with the A3 card, I didn't know how many of you had A3 card at home. You don't always have it. If you do have A3 at home, you then double the measurements that I gave you. I'll go through that in a minute. Oh, look, see, I didn't think you all in the bag. So then, make sure it's square. And there is your bag. And then the next thing we do is then add the ribbon. Yes, Susan, you can make a bottle bag. You can actually make one like this from A3 as well. Yeah, have fun, Sue. Say hi to Chloe. Have a nice time. Oh, I didn't erase my little pencil marks, which I didn't put far enough down. Okay, and then we can add the ribbon. Whichever side you want the ribbon tied. If you want, you don't have to do it this way. If you want two separate handles, so you don't have the ribbon stopping you putting something in the full width, then we would tie it differently. We would just go from hole to hole. Right, which is actual fact is what I'm going to do. We can go from hole to hole. So we have a nice. So we can then tie the knot here, and I tend to do like a reef knot. Oops. Left over right. And then right over left. Or whichever way. And then put it tight. And that can sit in the middle. So you've got one like that. And then we can trim the little bits of the bow as well. Do that in a minute. And then we obviously want the same length as the other handle. There or thereabouts. Would be handy, wouldn't it? Of course, if you go the other way, then it's easier to get the handles even, because you can then manipulate the knot wherever you want it to be, really, a little bit more easily. So it's entirely up to you how you do your ribbons. Is that right? Let's have a look. Let's do it loosely at first. That's about right. And then pull. There we go. And you have your bag. Now, if you do have the eyelets, you put the eyelets in before you put your ribbon, but I don't know how many of you got eyelets, because if you wouldn't have a crocodile, I don't know if you got them. So I don't want to do stuff that a lot of you don't have. So we do it like that. And then, oops, we then add the tag, which I have now lost. Aha, here it is. So again, kind of use the same. I use the same measurement. I go in that far. Oops, except I'm going to eyeball it this time, so it might be a bit crooked. And then add it with baker's twine. Now, if you want to add anything, like you can add a little element to your tag. I'll show you what I mean. What have I got? Where is my little box of stuff that I had handy? There's one box. What did I do with the other box? The bag. Aha. of course it's gold, isn't it? So let's have a look. Let's put a bronzy thing on or something. So if you want to, we could add a little embellishment. On the, oops, tag first, then cut however much you want off. And then, see, I've got to get this the right way around now, haven't I? How would I do this normally? I just go, yeah, I've got to come from the back. No! How am I going to put this on? Right, I'll do it in a minute. So, put the baker's twine on the tag. Right, like that. So this can go. If we even them up together, see, can I get both of them through here? I've got one through. I'll do it for now. Oh, for goodness sakes. Come on. Baker's twine. Behave yourself. Right. Okay, guys. Who would have thought that the baker's twine on the tag would have beaten me? Okay, Moya. There you go. But we want the... See, I want it on there, don't I? Yeah, so I need to do it before it goes through the gap. Good grief, guys. Good grief. Rickenbacker. Right. So you're going to get the idea anyway. Right, onto the tag. If you want the charm, and then around your bag. And we may need to have it quite tighter on the landscape one. Of course, the tag can hang quite low, so there we go. There you go. So here is your bag and tag, and in actual fact it probably should go on the other side, shouldn't it? Away from his face. So I'll move it, but you get the idea, don't you? So yes, I'm not happy with it covering his face, so let's move it to the other side. Okay, any questions? You can always email me or WhatsApp or Facebook me, but any questions? Oh, you're welcome, Nikki. Thank you very much. Thanks for joining me. That's better. Let's put it this side. Okay, anything else? Yes, because now once you've got the bag, Susan, as you say, if you do a matching card, then it all will look really good. So let's get all of this out of the way. It's going to fall on the floor if I do that. But let's get that out of the way. And there you go. Here's the bag. So nice and tidy. And here's the finished bag. Of course, you can put extra elements on, as I mentioned. I don't know if I will. I might leave it, or I might add I might add something. I'm not sure yet. But yeah, hopefully that's all given you the idea. As I said, play around with different bags. I always do it with copy paper first. I do have A3 copy paper here as well. I'm kind of sad. I don't know. I got that as well. That used to be partly because when I did some work from home, I needed it. So you can measure that. You can do bottle bags. You can do all sorts of different bags with the sizes, just as you can boxes really. But this is the way. And so to get an A4 bag like this, we have two. With clever folding, you can get the whole bag out of one piece of A3. Okay, Tracy, I'll go back over them for you if you want me to. So on the portrait bag, okay, you would measure horizontally. So you go this way from the landscape. So from the one side, you need 2 centimetres. And then the other end, you need it 4 centimetres when you turn the card. And then from the top, you score 1 centimetre and 5 centimetres all the way down, and then 3 centimetres just before the end to give you the gusset size. All right. But if you want me to go everything, email me, Tracy, or WhatsApp me, and I'll put it back in WhatsApp for you. All right. So that's the portrait bag. So, any other questions? All right, well, thank you for joining me. I know we've gone over slightly, sorry about that, by about 10 minutes. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you all again soon. Thank you.